Hi, my name is Kevin Fernandez and welcome to my channel, Gamers Genie. Today I'm going to count down my top 10 games of 2022. Now I know what you guys are probably thinking. Kevin, you're very late to the game for this because everybody else has already done their top 10 games of 2022. Well, I thought I'd try it this time. I thought I'd try it like this time. Instead of doing it where it's just I'm filming it and it kind of comes out like towards the end of 2022 or something like that, I thought, hey, maybe I could just end 2022, go into 2021, and just actually talk about my favorite games. That gives me a little more time to actually try some new games and some other games. I've tried new games all year last year. But this is getting a little awkward, so without further ado, let's count down. Okay, so my number 10 is the game Creature Comforts by Kids Table Board Game. And the reason why I put this at number 10 is because I haven't played, I guess, a full game of it thus far. All I've been able to experience with this game is just a little demo that I did at Gen Con with Jordan. We did like the demo, we did like the game. I like the artwork, the gameplay. You know, thus far, it's the traditional kids table board gaming. 10 out of 10, knocked out of the park. Super fun, super easy to learn, easy to teach, all that jazz. But like I said, I just want to get like in a full game. Probably, I mean, as I am filming this, we still have quite a bit of time in January where I can still play it, and I definitely know me and Jordan want to do a full playthrough of this game. I also know this is going to be one of the options that you can vote for games you can vote for the next How to Play video poll. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But other than that, it looks really good. It looks like it's a resource gathering game, part of it, but it looks like they added some extra elements that isn't normally in there, which is cool. They put a little spin on a gaming mechanic that has been that has a lot of games with that gaming mechanic out there. It's kind of nice. I can't wait to play a full game of it. Other than that, number 10, Creature Comforts. Okay, so number 9 is Stella by Liveblood. I don't think I'll ever know how to pronounce that company's name, but I have taught a lot of other games by this company. I got Mysterium somewhere, we got Obscurio somewhere, Mysterium Park is down there. That's pretty much it. I played Dixit, love Dixit, and I do love Stella. It's a great game. It is currently, because we brought it to our game night a couple weeks ago. It is, as of when I record this, it is in my dad's trunk. Because we brought it to the game night, so it is in my dad's trunk. Hopefully we'll get all those games out of the trunk. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Jordan's trying to have a conversation behind the scenes, but I'm trying to talk about the game, so she should really zip it. It's kind of being rude. But I do love this game. It's got great artwork. I like how it's not just Dixit, where I do feel like it's not a bad thing, but I do feel like Obscurio and Mysterium, even though a lot of people go, oh, well, you should play Obscurio, not Mysterium, or, oh, you should play Mysterium, not Obscurio. They're kind of the same game. The only major difference is there's like a trader. But, and they don't break it down like Clue. Obscurio doesn't break it down like Clue. But other than that, it is like, you're a group of people trying to figure something out. You have these like obscure, you have a thing that's sending you obscure messages through these like different picture cards. They don't get to like search through the picture cards, and instead it's just but you know, they're all fun. Stella is a game where you get a word, you pick a word, and people have to pick from these different pictures that are kind of laid out on the board. Which ones would, how many cards do they see that would kind of represent that? It's really fun because it's like you get to use your imagination and really think about how these things connect to that word. And it is up to your imagination. But the thing is, if nobody picks it, then you have to end and you don't get to guess anymore. And you can even lose points. So that adds definitely a bit of risk to that as well. It is a wonderful game. I mean, when we demoed it, I think we almost played through the entire game because we liked playing through this game so much. It was just so great. We were joined by another convention goer, which in my opinion, when I go to Gen Con, I always like it when somebody wants to sit down at the table and demo the game with you, as opposed to you sit down, there's like 2 of you, this is like a 6-player game or whatever, or 8-player game. This is like got a huge number of players. You barely have filled in the seats, and this one guy goes, "No, it's okay. It looks like you guys got it." I'm like, no, the more people we have, the better this will be for us. Come on, seriously. Hopefully we'll get more people to, at this Gen Con, we'll get more people to actually join us at a demo. We had quite a bit, but I still think, I think everybody has their reasons for why they want to do that. Maybe it just didn't look that interesting to them or whatever. But number 9, Stella. Okay, number 8 is Envelopes of Cash by, as of now, they do not have an actual publishing company name, so I'm just calling them Sport Games. That is not a real company. I'm just giving them something, because right now it's Envelopes of Cash LLC. But this game is a game where you're playing a college recruiter and you're trying to kind of sneak cash under the table to pay your college recruits. I do have a how to play video on that game, so I will leave that in the I will leave that up in the video. You guys can check that out. I want to point out this is the only game I actually have a how to play video for that's on this list. One of them will kind of has one, but you know, I'll talk about that when we get to it. This is pretty fun and interesting. I do have a couple nitpicks with the game, but it was a prototype that I played, so the rules are I'm not going to go that deep into the rules of this game because they have probably changed since I've played it when it was a prototype. So yeah, I'm not going to like tell you this and then have somebody like comment on me, well, that's all wrong, I changed all the rules or something like that. But it was really good. The artwork, I think, on the game was really good. The gaming mechanics was super easy to understand once you it was one of those once you get the feel of it kind of things. But again, it was a prototype, so you know, you can't really complain that much. Yeah, if you are a big sports fan, I definitely recommend you check out this game. I believe he is starting to sell copies now, so yeah, definitely check it out. Because number 8 is Envelopes of Cash. Okay, so number 7 is Star Wars Villainous. They got the big Disney 3. We got Star Wars, we got Marvel, and we got Disney. So that's the big 3. I don't think they're going to make any more spin-offs of this. I think they're going to just cut it off at Star Wars. Because they're not going to do Pixar Villainous, because we know now that Disney Villainous is going to be Disney and Pixar Villainous. And, you know, there's not that much left, I don't think. Um, Although, granted, here's something I want to point out before I start talking about Star Wars. It would be funny if in the Disney villainous, since now so many people are pushing for those old Fox animated films to be kind of considered into the Disney library, that you can play as Rasputin or like whatever villain was in Thumbelina. That would be just freaking hilarious. I guess the mole. Oh no, wait, the one antagonist from Thumbelina that actually was a constant was the Toad. I totally forgot his name. The one with the weird lisp. And he dressed up as like Pagliacci, the sad clown. I cannot remember his name. I'm looking at Jordan to see if she remembers his name. She does not remember his name. But yeah, that, I'm just saying, Disney, you own those things. Think about it. Don't actually do it. Or do it. I don't know. But just think about it. Think about it. I mean, technically, because I know there are people who are pushing for that. But anyways, so Star Wars Villainous is you get to play as Star Wars villains. So they, the nice thing about this game that I kind of liked was they sprinkled in villains from not just what people would want, but there is a lot that of people would want. You know, they have Moff Gideon from The Mandalorian. They have Asajj Ventress from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. They have Darth Vader, General Grievous. They have not Darth Maul. Sad. But it's really cool. We got to learn the game from the Lord of the Board, Sam Smith. So I just want to say, hey Sam, if you're watching this, I don't know if you are. Yeah, and thank you for teaching the game. You did a great job. He does have a lot of, which makes sense because he talks about the different villainous games and how to play as the different villains and comes up with different strategies that he suggests people use when learning how to play these villains. Yeah, I'll leave a link to Lord of the Board's website, his channel, in the description below, so you guys can check that out. I am definitely planning. So Star Wars Villainous will never go on the poll because in May I'm gonna do a special Star Wars episode. So I'm gonna try to time it where it can come out around Star Wars Day, because I don't think I've ever had a Star Wars Day where it actually drops on the day that I'm releasing a new episode. It's usually like Tuesday. It's been Tuesday, it's been Wednesday, and it's been Thursday and Friday, but it's never been Monday. So I'll just see how that goes, but I'm definitely doing that. So be on the lookout for that. This game is pretty cool. I'm still kind of wondering why has the player count shrunk from, what was the original count for Disney Villainous? Was it 6 players? I'm talking to Jordan, sorry.
Yeah. 6 players.
Yeah, 6 players to 4 players. I think that's because I know one of the major complaints from Disney Villainous is it gets too chaotic when you get 6 players, but I love the chaos. So I'm sad that we don't get the chaos, but I can get why they didn't do it for Marvel Villainous. Jordan and I have played Marvel Villainous, and I think with her dad, she wants me to point that out, but I think we both can agree that it needs to have 4 players. Because if you added two more players, it would just be, yeah, I could definitely see how that could be too chaotic, especially with the missions that you have to do in that. And if you don't, it'll just keep torturing you. But I haven't played Star Wars Villainous. When Sam taught us the game, he just kind of gave us like, it was basically like watching his channel live. Because Ravensburger wasn't doing actual playthroughs. which was, I think a lot of people were very disappointed because they're like, oh, so when do we get to play through this? It's like, actually, this is not a playthrough. They haven't authorized this. And we're like, man. So I can't wait to play this. I think, well, I know Jordan and I have like a list of games we want to go through. I know Creature Comforts is kind of at the top of the list. And then I think Star Wars Villainous is like right next door. After that, it's kind of whatever falls. Whatever falls down, falls down. I definitely know Power Plants will probably be after Villainous. But, you know, I do, like I said, it's still keeping true. Each different villain has a different mission that they have to complete. Like, you know, Moff Tarkin has to get Grogu. Yes, his name is Grogu. Deal with it. Gosh. Like, Vader has to seduce Luke to the dark side. Grievous has to, I think he has to kill like I believe his is like Scar, where he has to just like kill a bunch of Jedi. I can't really remember, but number 7, Star Wars Villainous. Okay, so number 6 is Paint the Roses by Breaking Games. We did quite a bit of stuff by Breaking Games. But Paint the Roses was one of my favorite ones because you have to kind of work together, but at the same time you have to kind of guess what your partners are like trying to aim for. If you guess correctly, you can move up the garden, but if you guess incorrectly, then the queen gets really quick, gets faster, and she gets faster and faster as the game progresses. If she catches you, the game's over and you all lose. If you manage to, I believe, make it around the board, you win. We have not made it around the board, but it's still very fun. I recommend this for any like Alice in Wonderland fan. If you do like Alice in Wonderland, this does it does keep to the theme. I think that this is basically the only way you can successfully do kind of a Wonderland kind of theme. Okay, one thing I like about this game is it is Alice in Wonderland without the big epic battle. I feel like ever since Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland came out, we have to have her fighting everybody all the time, and it's like some epic fantasy story. I'm like, no, what? No. Tim Burton is not the main thing. I get it if you like big epic adventure fantasy adventures, I get why that would be your thing. That is not my thing. I'm sorry. I like the big epic adventures stuff, but I don't think everything needs to be that. I know they have I think they have a Wonderland's Legacy, just like how we did Neverland's Legacy. I think they have that for Wonderland, but I definitely know they have like the Wonderland War, whatever it's called. I can't remember. But this is kind of a more like traditional what Alice in Wonderland, like the original like Lewis Carroll novel is more like. You're painting the roses, like sometimes it's sometimes it's a shape and a color, sometimes it's just colors, sometimes it's just shapes. So it's pretty cool. Number 6, Paint the Roses. Okay, so number 5 is pretty fun. We demoed this game at Gen Con. It is Scooby-Doo the board game by Cool Mini or Not. This game was really fun. It really kept to the theme of Scooby-Doo. I'm not going to talk about Velma. This isn't a review show. This isn't a review channel. I know people have said things about that, but this is based off of Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Where you could play as Scooby, Fred, Velma, Daphne, Shaggy, or if you got the Kickstarter version, Scrappy. And you gotta basically trap monsters. And they got like a lot of the classic monsters from Scooby-Doo Where Are You? You got the Creeper. I believe the main game, if you're buying this retail, you're gonna get the Ghost Clown, the Green Ghoul, and the Creeper. However, Jordan got the Kickstarter, so we not only have those three, but we also have Redbeard's ghost, Captain Cutler's ghost, the witch, the zombie, the Black Knight. I thought that was something else for a second there. Like, what? No, that's not in it. Not until like they meet the Harlem Globetrotters. However, here's one thing I constantly say that this is a missed opportunity because technically it is supposed to be Scooby-Doo Where Are You, but Scrappy does not come into Scooby-Doo Where Are You at all. He comes in when they do Scooby-Doo and Scrappy 2. Since they're clearly not since they clearly weren't really the monsters mostly came from Where Are You, but since they're clearly not following that, I think they should have done instead of doing Dick Dastardly. I know why they did that, but instead of doing Dick Dastardly for Scooby-Doo only, you could have had an add-on of Johnny Bravo, because there is an episode of Johnny Bravo called Bravo Doobie Doo, where he randomly has a crossover with Mystery Incorporated, and they had like this farmer ghost that was haunting his Aunt Jebedissa's house. And it's so hilarious, you know. It's got the Johnny Bravo tropes where he's constantly trying to flirt with the prettiest girl in the room, which is Daphne, according to him. And then, you know, of course, Daphne has to beat the living tar out of him because he's not respecting her space. And then Velma flirts vigorously with him. And it is kind of... And then Shaggy's just there being like, I'm just going to step in between this. The comedy in this episode is hilarious. I wish that they had a Johnny Bravo add-on. And... you could have added the farmer ghost too with him, and that would have been pretty cool. That would have been pretty funny, and like really people who have seen that episode could get it. Or since they recently just did a crossover, Courage. You could do Courage the Cowardly Dog, which would have been pretty fun. Which would have been pretty funny too. You could have had Courage, and then you could have also had like. For the monster, you could have picked like one of Courage's monsters. He has like a plethora of like monsters you could pick from, which would have been pretty interesting. It also would have been interesting how that might have mixed up the game a bit. But yeah, I would definitely say could have added on either one of those. Who knows? Maybe they'll have like an expansion or an add-on where those characters will come in, or they'll add more monsters or something like that. But you know, the main focus of the game is you have to set off traps. It's got like on the board, it's got like all these different locations from Scooby-Doo Where Are You, Vasquez Castle, the Funland, and yeah, it was a really fun game. I like playing as Shaggy. Jordan plays as Velma. Yeah, Jordan likes to play as Velma. I guess because they both have glasses. And one time Jordan had Velma hair. Just pointing that out. She says I'm number one. I can't say what she really did because this is a family show. But anyways, number 5 is Scooby-Doo the board game. Okay, so number 4 is a Goofy movie game. This was a pretty fun game. It's Funko games, so you know the rules were pretty simple. Because the whole point of the whole point of a lot of games by Funko is they want to get everybody playing the game as fast as possible, and that's why the rules are a lot more simplified, as opposed to like other games who they're simple and easy to teach sometimes. But sometimes it takes people a couple rounds to do it, where I feel like Funko, you could play like right away. You just say, this is how you play, everybody's like, okay, and then we just go. Which is what I like about Funko. It's what I feel like a lot more people would gravitate to. Now, if only a lot more retail stores would sell their games. It's so weird. The only thing that doesn't make Funko games very accessible is that like retail stores like Target, Walmart, and Meijer won't sell their games. Oh yeah, Barnes and Noble, but Barnes and Noble already sells like Funkoverse. But you know, this game is you get to play as Max, PJ, Bobby, or Roxanne, and you're trying to get to the Powerline concert, and you get to collect different cards that will give you bonus points at the end of the game. And you get to. It's not that much you can do, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty enjoyable. It stays close to like the story, but what I feel like they should have added is like an add-on rule, not like a part of the game, is that like Goofy is trying to get to um, Lake Destiny, and you're trying, like in the movie, you're trying to manipulate it into trying to get to the concert. But I get it. It's not really the theme of Funko game. That's not really what Funko Games is about. They're about, we get this game on the table, we read through the rule book, everybody kind of gets the rules, and we just play. Maybe there's a question every now and then, but mostly we get to the game. That sounds more like something that like one of the other companies would do, versus like that sounds like a Ravensburger thing. Whereas Funko is really more, the game's on the table, this is how you play the game, we play the game, it's really simple, it's easy to learn, easy to teach, great game. Number 4, Goofy Movie Game. Okay, so number 3 is Battle of Legends Volume 2. Now, here's the game that I was talking about. I have played Unmatched. This is, by the way, this is Unmatched. But this is Battle of Legends Volume 2. I have Volume 1. I taught Volume 1. I will leave my how to play video for Volume 1 in there. This has about the exact same rules as Unmatched Battle of Legends Volume 1. The powers are really the thing that differs a lot of these games from it. Every now and then there's like an extra rule or something like that. But for the most part, it's just that. And I do like this version. It's not, to me, it's not better than Volume 1. I haven't really I haven't played this enough to make a comparison. There's 4 new characters. There's Yanega, I hope I'm saying that right. Sun Wukong, that one I had to take, it took a while, but that one I can pronounce a little more easier. Achilles, and the 4th one is Bloody Mary. Not the drink, the scary girl that comes out of the bathroom mirror if you turn off the lights and say her name 3 times in a row. The artwork, once again, knocked it out of the park, really good. I really like it when Funko does horror characters. Like, you look at like Dracula, Jekyll and Hyde, or the Invisible Man. When they get to do horror, the Mondo artwork just gets really crazy, really scary, really intense. The artwork on any of these games is really cool. Gameplay's really fun. If you are an addictive collector like I am, you're gonna want to collect all the games, but you don't have to. You just really, it is just kind of a one and done, unless you get the Bruce Lee or Deadpool one, then that's it. But I like how, oh yeah, this one, one of the differences is the sidekicks get, for Yanega, she gets more than 1 life with her sidekicks. Usually when you have the little tokens, that's it. It's a one and done thing. But unless it's just like these are a group that get lives. So a group's is one and done. If you have like Dr. Watson, then he has a little health meter as well. But this one is I believe also the clones get lives too. I'm not quite sure. It's been a while. It's been a while since I played this game, but I'm so excited to get back into it. That's so number 3, Battle of Legends Volume 2. Okay, so number 2 is a game that I played around Christmas time, and it is a Christmas themed game. It is Stitch Merry Mischief by Funko Games. This game was really fun. The one criticism I would definitely say is the die. I kind of wished, coming from Funko Games, the die that we used for a Goofy movie was very solid and very, it had weight to it. It felt like if I rolled it, it just roll. This one is like they just took like some plastic and glued it together and then just put some stickers on it. I really felt every time we rolled that it was going to fall apart. I just wish that there was a better die for that, a more solid die with some weight to it. But other than that, it is really fun. You roll this die, and if you have, so depending on if you have more red Stitch than blue Stitch, because remember, in Lilo and Stitch, the red was how bad Stitch was, and the blue was how good Stitch was. So if you had more bad Stitch, then that means you had to roll 3 times. And if you had more good Stitch or none at all, then you only had to roll like once. If you had like an even amount, you'd only had to roll twice. And for every symbol you rolled that matched the cards that you and your opponents had out on the field, you had to discard one. And if you can make it through the whole round with all your presents being intact, you get to put it in this saved presents stack. However, if you if you discarded all your cards, you get one what I call a sympathy present. Kind of like how, when your kid is like super sad that they didn't get like any presents or something like that for Christmas, and so you get them like this one little gift just to make them feel better. Not like when they're at a birthday party and their friend is opening a present and they have to, and so the parents of that kid of the guest has to get them a present. That is messed up, in my opinion. But like, I kind of liked it. It was a little sweet. It does slow you down to how fast you want to get to the like big score. If you only are drawing one card in your saved presents every time, you really want to try to get that. Now, if you're ahead of everybody and you really want to like make them feel bad, you can really just thrash that die up. This is a super great game. I like the watercolor artwork too. That was really good. Very unique for a board game to use the watercolor kind of look, in my opinion. But that's kind of Lilo and Stitch. They do use the watercolor backgrounds in their animated film, which is why I feel like the backgrounds for Lilo and Stitch, I think a lot of people like to see the scenery because that looks really good. And they definitely show this in the cards that you are collecting as well. So, definitely my number 2, Stitch Merry Mischief. Okay, so my number 1 is Wonder Book by DV Games. And the reason why I did this one is because I do like the game Stuffed Fables, which is a role-playing game where you play as these little stuffies. This one is also a role-playing game, and you play as different characters, and just like Stuffed Fables, you're going through a storybook. But the one thing that I like about this is it is a pop-up book, and the board can change. So when you get to a certain space, you flip a flap or pull a tab or something, and the board will change and everything. So it's not, by the time you leave that page, you won't be leaving the same page you came onto at the beginning of the game. Jordan and I, we didn't demo this, but we got to see how it was played a bit. because they didn't want to give away all the secrets of the board. They wanted to have that be revealed when we actually played the game, which is always a good marketing tactic. If you have a lot of secrets and surprises in your game, you don't want to give them all away, especially if it's a story-based game. So if you are a big story-based gaming fan, so if you like the Fables, if you like Sleeping Gods, if you like, Dungeons and Dragons, I guess, these story-based role-playing kind of games, I definitely recommend our number one pick of 2022, because I have to check and remind myself that it's not 2022 anymore. Number one, Wonder Book. Well, there you go. There's my top 10 games that we got to play in 2022. I think I'm gonna have this list. I think I'm gonna be my top 10 games of the year. I think I'm gonna do that every January. So I might keep this as a normal thing. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Should I do it at the end of? Should I do it more towards the end of December, like I usually have been doing, or should I just do it at the end of January like I did this year? I'd like to hear your opinions. But other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to be notified for top 10s lists just like this. We do these once a month, with some exception. We talk about top 10 board games once a month, with exceptions in May and July. That's when Jordan and I will talk about our top 10 favorite of any category, just so that way you can get to know us a little more better. That is our birthday list, because my birthday is May 19th, Jordan's is July 19th, so when it gets around to that time, you guys can wish a happy birthday to Jordan or myself. Just be on the lookout for our next top 10s list, but until then, thanks for the views.